Hi, I'm Frans. So, in today's video, I'll give you top 10 RPG games for Low Spec PC Part 1. RPG is one of the most popular genres in video games. Obviously, AAA RPG games won't be on the list such as The Witcher 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Monster Hunter World, Elden Ring, Fallout 76, and so forth. But, no need to worry, there are many other amazing RPG games that worth playing. Let's roll. Number 10, we have Two Worlds 2. Two Worlds 2 is an action role-playing game developed by Polish developer Reality Pump and published by Topware Interactive. The game takes place in an open fantasy world where players take the role of a single character with whom they can explore and undertake quests. Key features in this game such as a flexible combat system, rich of quests, complex object management, many boss opponents, numerous cutscenes, etc. Much of the in-game world can be fully explored from the beginning, regardless of how much the player has progressed through the main story arc. Despite being non-linear, many areas of the land are populated by strong foes with higher levels than that of the player initially. Talking about requirements, this game only needs a dual-core processor, 4GB of memory, 512MB graphic card and 12GB hard disk space. Number 9, we have Risen. Risen is a fantasy-themed action role-playing game developed by the German company Piranha Bytes and published by Deep Silver. The game tells the narrative of an unnamed player character's adventures in Faranga, a mountainous fictitious island ruled by the ruthless High Inquisitor Mendoza. The player technically has access to most of the island right from the beginning of the game. However, the paths leading further into the island are almost always blocked by numerous wild creatures. And the requirements, it only needs a Pentium 4, 1GB of memory, an old graphic card like GeForce 7900, and 3GB of hard disk space. Risen received mostly positive reviews, with acclaim for its gameplay, graphics, and voice acting. You should try it.
You won't get away from...
Number 8, we have Dark Souls. Dark Souls is an action RPG game developed by From Software and published by Namco Bandai Games. Also ported for Microsoft Windows titled Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. Dark Souls takes place in the Kingdom of Osasco, where players assume the role of a cursed undead character who begins a pilgrimage to discover the fate of their kind. A core mechanic of the game is exploration. Players are encouraged to proceed with caution, learn from past mistakes, or find alternative areas to explore. The player character's interaction includes a great deal of combat such as melee attacks, various forms of defensive maneuvering, and magical abilities. In order to play this game smoothly, you need Intel Core 2 Duo processor, 2GB of memory, an ATI Radeon HD 4870 or better. Number 7, we have Fable Anniversary. Fable is an action RPG game developed by Big Blue Box Studios, a satellite developer of Lionhead Studios, and was published by Microsoft Studios. Anniversary Edition is a high-definition remake of the game. The game provides stunning graphics and audio remastered since it uses Unreal Engine 3, new interface, new save system, seamless experiences, and so forth. Players can interact with people and objects as well as battle foes. In Fable, a player's hero has a measure of good or evil alignment based on the hero's actions. Good deeds award good points, while committing evil acts adds evil points. Talking about requirements, you need Intel Core 2 Duo processor, 3GB of memory and GeForce 7600 GT or better. Number 6, we have Mount & Blade Warband. Mount Blade Warband is a sandbox role-playing game that takes place in the medieval land of Calradia and was developed by the Turkish company Tailworlds Entertainment. Warband expands on the original game by introducing a sixth faction, increasing political options, adding the ability for the player to start their own faction, and incorporating multiplayer modes. The game places a focus on horse-mounted combat and giving orders to one's warband in the field, such as telling archers to hold a position or infantry to use blunt weapons. The game is non-linear and has no set objectives, but a common goal is to conquer the entirety of Calradia. This game only needs Pentium 4, 512 MB of memory, 3D graphic card, and definitely won't take a big space in your storage disk. Number 5, we have The Witcher Enhanced Edition. The Witcher is an action role-playing game developed by CD Projekt. It was based on the fantasy novel series with the same title. The Witcher Enhanced Edition takes all of the acclaimed gameplay that garnered the original game more than 90 industry awards and introduces a number of gameplay and technical improvements. The significant changes featured in the enhanced version are over 200 new animations, additional NPC models and recoloring of generic NPC models as well as monsters, vastly expanded and corrected dialogues in translated versions, improved stability, and load times reduced by roughly 80%. Talking about the requirements, it needs at least Pentium 4, GeForce 6600 or better, 2 GB of memory, and 15 GB of hard disk space since it contains a lot of new features. Number 4, we have Torchlight II. Torchlight II is an action role-playing dungeon crawler video game developed by Runic Games. An action RPG filled with epic battles, bountiful treasure, and a fully randomized world, Torchlight II takes place in a fantasy world where the player character can be any of 4 classes, each with different skills and abilities. Torchlight II expands the world and adds features players wanted most, including online and LAN multiplayer. The plot starts with the destruction of the town of Torchlight, at the hands of the alchemist from the first game, and has the character following the trail of destruction left in the alchemist's wake as he searches for a cure to his illness which has driven him insane. This game is well optimized, you only need at least 32-bit processor, 1 GB of memory, and under 2 GB of hard disk space. I totally recommend you this game. Number 3, we have Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is an action role-playing game developed by Bethesda Game Studios. The game marks a major shift in the series by using 3D graphics and real-time combat, replacing the 2D isometric graphics and turn-based combat of previous installments. The game is set within a post-apocalyptic, open-world environment that encompasses a scaled region consisting of the ruins of Washington, D.C. and much of the countryside is the capital wasteland. Fallout 3 was met with universal acclaim and received a number of Game of the Year awards, praising the game's open-ended gameplay and flexible character leveling system and is considered one of the best video games ever made. To play this game, you only need Windows XP, Pentium 4, 1 GB of memory, GeForce 200 series and 7 GB of hard disk space. Number 2, we have Dead Island. Dead Island is an action role-playing and survival game developed by Techland and published by Deep Silver. The game is centered on the challenge of surviving a zombie-infested open world with a major emphasis on melee combat. The plot focuses on 4 playable survivors trying to survive and escape off the fictional island of Banoi. Dead Island features an open world, divided by relatively large areas, and played from a first-person perspective. Zombies in the game have different abilities, such as the walkers being Romero-style zombies and the infected being 28 days later-style running zombies. There are also other special zombies in the style of Left 4 Dead. This game needs Intel Core 2 Duo, 1GB of memory, GeForce 8600 GT and 7GB of hard disk space. At the top of the list, we have the king of open-world RPG games for Low Spec PC. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is an action role-playing video game developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. Skyrim reimagines and revolutionizes the open-world fantasy epic, bringing to life a complete virtual world open for you to explore any way you choose. The player may freely roam over the land of Skyrim, consisting of wilderness expanses, dungeons, caves, cities, towns, fortresses, and villages. The player may interact with many NPCs, develop the characteristics, join available factions, run the town as a king and many more. This game needs a dual-core processor, 2GB of memory, GeForce 7600 GT and 6GB of hard disk space. Because this game is the winner of more than 200 Game of the Year awards, you should give it a try.